Hey everyone, and welcome to the friendliest skies around. You know, I love a good adventure, and for a lot of us, that adventure starts with a plane ticket. But if we're being honest, sometimes those pre-flight jitters can really put a damper on things, right? Well, I'm here to tell you, you are definitely not alone. Turns out, a lot of people get a little nervous when it comes to flying. But today, we're on a mission to conquer those fears with, facts. We're talking cold, hard, totally reassuring data that proves just how unbelievably safe flying actually is. We're talking 30 reasons. 30. Why stepping onto a plane is like stepping into, statistically speaking, one of the safest places on Earth. Safer than driving, safer than walking, heck, probably even safer than making toast in the morning, though we'll double check on that one. So buckle up, grab your complimentary beverage. It's imaginary, but hey, we're all about that positive thinking here. And get ready to be surprised by some seriously impressive stats. Let's do this. Alright, let's kick things off with a little perspective, shall we? We all know that feeling of hopping in the car, turning on some tunes, and heading off on a little road trip. And for the most part, those trips are smooth sailing. But here's a statistic that might make you look twice at that rear-view mirror. The risk of dying in a car accident is a 1 in 7,700. That's right, for every 7,700 people, statistically speaking, one will tragically not make it home from their drive. It's a sobering thought, and it really puts things in perspective. Now I know what you might be thinking, John, why are you bringing down the mood? We're talking about planes here. But trust me, there's a method to my, method. We're establishing a baseline here, folks. Because when we compare that car accident statistic to the odds of, well, something going wrong on a plane ride, let's just say the difference is going to be pretty eye-opening. Stay tuned. Okay, deep breaths everyone, because it's time to talk about the elephant, or rather, the giant metal bird in the room, the risk of dying in a plane crash. Now I know just saying those words probably made a few of you a little tense, but I want you to hold on to your hats because this number is going to blow your mind. Ready for it? The risk of dying in a plane crash is a staggering 1 in 11 million. You heard that right, 11 million. That's like winning the lottery twice and then getting struck by lightning while holding all your winning lottery tickets. To put that into perspective, you're actually more likely to, become the next big TikTok star than to be in a fatal plane crash. And let's be honest, there are a lot of people trying to become TikTok famous these days. So, the next time you hear that little as the plane reaches cruising altitude, just remember that you are statistically safer up in the air than you are pretty much anywhere else. And that, my friends, is something to celebrate. Okay guys, buckle up because this next stat is truly mind-blowing. Are you ready for this? 95.7%, that's right, almost 96%, of passengers involved in aviation incidents walk away unharmed. Let that sink in for a second. Think about the most intense plane landing you've ever experienced, the one that had you gripping your armrest. Now imagine a situation where things got even crazier and yet, you'd still have a 95.7% chance of walking away from it all without a scratch. Pretty amazing, right? This just goes to show you how incredibly safe modern aviation truly is. These planes are designed with your safety in mind, with every little detail meticulously crafted to ensure your well-being. So, next time you hear about a plane having a rough landing or encountering some unexpected turbulence, remember this statistic. Remember that the odds are overwhelmingly in your favor, and the chances of you walking away from that plane completely fine are higher than you might think. Alright folks, get ready for another stat that's going to make you rethink your fear of flying. You know how people say getting struck by lightning is like winning the lottery, right? Well, get this. You're actually more likely to get struck by lightning than die in a plane crash. I know, it sounds unbelievable, but it's true. The odds of getting struck by lightning in your lifetime are about 1 in 1.1 million. Now compare that to the odds of dying in a plane crash, which are, as we've established, a mind-boggling 1 in 11 million. That means you're 10 times more likely to have that electrifying encounter with Mother Nature than to be in a fatal plane accident. So, next time you're feeling a little anxious about flying and those storm clouds start rolling in, remember this. You're statistically safer up in the air than you are walking around outside during a thunderstorm. Who knew, right? Alright everyone, get ready for a statistic that's both heartwarming and mind-blowing at the same time. Are you ready for this? You are statistically more likely to have triplets than to die in a plane crash. Yep, you heard me right. The odds of naturally conceiving triplets are about 1 in 10,000. Now remember those odds of dying in a plane crash? Still a staggering 1 in 11 million? That means you're over 1,000 times more likely to experience the joy and, let's be honest, the chaos of having triplets than to be in a fatal plane accident. So the next time someone tells you they're worried about flying, just tell them to think about the odds. They're more likely to hit the baby jackpot 3 times over than to experience anything but a safe and smooth flight. Alright folks, buckle up because this next one is going to blow your mind. You know that dream you have? The one where you're standing on that podium, the national anthem is playing, and they're putting that shiny gold medal around your neck? Yeah, well, statistically speaking, you're more likely to achieve that dream than die in a plane crash. I'm talking about the Olympics, people, the pinnacle of athletic achievement. It seems almost impossible, right? But the odds of winning an Olympic gold medal are actually higher than the odds of being in a fatal plane accident. That's how safe flying is. So next time you're feeling nervous about boarding that flight, just picture yourself as an Olympic champion. Channel that energy because you've got a better chance of reaching those heights than experiencing a plane crash. Okay everyone, let's talk about something we do every day without a second thought, taking a bath. It's supposed to be relaxing, right? A little self-care time. But as it turns out, statistically speaking, you are more likely to, well, have an accident in the bathtub than have an accident on an airplane. I know, it sounds crazy, but those are the numbers. It just goes to show how incredibly safe flying really is. We're talking exponentially safer than something as routine as taking a bath. So, next time you're flying high above the clouds, just remember, you're in statistically safer hands than when you're enjoying that bubble bath. This next one is for all you worrywarts out there. You know who you are. You've got your lucky socks, your pre-flight rituals, the whole 9 yards. But guess what? You can relax. Because you are statistically more likely to get taken out by a meteorite than be involved in a fatal plane crash. Yes, you heard that right. A meteorite. We're talking about a space rock hurtling towards Earth at thousands of miles per hour. The odds of that happening to any one person are astronomically low. But guess what's even lower? The odds of dying in a plane crash? So go ahead and book that flight, knowing that the universe has got your back. You're statistically safer up in the air than you are down here on Earth dodging space debris. Okay, everyone, picture this. You're planning a trip to the breathtaking Yellowstone National Park. You're daydreaming about geysers, hot springs, maybe even spotting a bison or two. But then, there's that little voice in the back of your head. The one that remembers those park ranger warnings about bear encounters? It's true, folks. Bears can be a real concern in Yellowstone. You know what's statistically less likely to happen to you in Yellowstone than encountering a bear? Dying in a plane crash? I'm serious. You are actually more likely to have a run-in with a grizzly than to be in a fatal plane accident. It's a wild comparison, right? But it really puts things into perspective. We all know flying is incredibly safe, but sometimes we need those reminders, especially when faced with something as seemingly scary as a bear. So, next time you're feeling nervous about that flight, just remember, you're statistically safer up in the air than you are wandering around bear country. And hey, if you do see a bear in Yellowstone, just remember to stay calm, follow park guidelines, and keep a safe distance. Alright everybody, let's talk numbers for a second because sometimes the sheer scale of things can be mind-blowing. Last year alone, over 4.5 billion, that's billion with a B, passengers flew safely to their destinations. 4.5 billion people. That's more than half the entire population of our planet. Think about the logistics, the coordination, the sheer number of flights it took to move that many people through the air. It's nothing short of extraordinary. And you know what's even more amazing? The vast majority of those flights landed safely and on time. Sure, there are delays, cancellations, and the occasional bumpy ride, but those are just tiny blips in an otherwise incredibly safe and efficient system. This incredible feat of aviation is a testament to the hard work, dedication, and collaboration of countless individuals. From the pilots and air traffic controllers to the engineers, ground crew, and everyone in between, it's something to be truly amazed by. Have you ever looked up at a clear blue sky and wondered, how many people are up there right now? Well, get this. At any given moment, there are over 1.2 million people soaring above us in the clouds. 1.2 million people. That's like the entire population of a major city just floating around up there. It's a thought that simultaneously blows my mind and gives me a sense of wonder. Imagine it. Families heading on vacation, business people jetting off to meetings, adventurers embarking on new journeys, all connected by this shared experience of flight. It's a testament to our human desire to explore, connect, and experience the world beyond our own backyards. And while it might seem chaotic with that many planes in the air, it's actually a testament to the incredible precision and safety of the aviation industry. Air traffic control systems around the world work tirelessly to ensure the smooth and safe operation of every single flight. So, the next time you gaze up at those fluffy white clouds, remember this. You're looking at a sky full of stories, dreams, and a whole lot of human connection. And that, my friends, is something truly special. Alright folks, buckle up, because this next stat really puts things into perspective. We're talking about the United States, home to some of the busiest airports and countless flights crisscrossing the country every single day. So, how many fatal commercial airline crashes do you think happened here last year? Take a guess, write it down. Okay, ready for the answer? Only 2. You heard that right, just 2 fatal commercial airline crashes in the entire US last year. It's a testament to the incredible safety measures, rigorous training, and constant advancements in aviation technology that make flying so incredibly safe. Now don't get me wrong, any accident is one too many, and our hearts go out to those affected by these tragedies. But when we look at the sheer volume of flights taking place every single day, it's clear that the chances of something going wrong are incredibly slim. We're talking about millions upon millions of passengers reaching their destinations safely, reuniting with loved ones and exploring new corners of the world. Okay, so we just learned that there were only 2 fatal commercial airline crashes in the US last year. But I know what you're thinking. John, that's great and all, but how many flights were there in total? Give me the numbers. Well, get ready to be amazed because we're talking about nearly 10 million flights. That's right, almost 10 million flights took to the skies last year in the US alone. So let's do the math. When you divide those 2 fatal crashes by the nearly 10 million flights, you get a 0.00002% chance of being in a fatal accident. That's essentially near zero risk. To put it another way, you're more likely to win the lottery, get struck by lightning twice, or become the next viral sensation overnight than be involved in a fatal plane crash. So, the next time you're feeling nervous about flying, just remember those odds. They're definitely in your favor. Alright everyone, time for a little reality check. We've been talking about the incredibly low risk of flying, but it's important to keep things in perspective. So let's compare those flying statistics to something we're all familiar with: driving. We hop in our cars every day without a second thought, but the truth is, driving comes with a significantly higher risk than flying. In fact, over 40,000 people die in car accidents each year in the US alone. That's a staggering number. Think about that for a second. 40,000 families devastated by a loss that, in many cases, could have been prevented. It's a stark contrast to the 2 fatal airline crashes we discussed earlier. And the reasons for this difference in safety are clear. When you're flying, you've got highly trained pilots, air traffic control, sophisticated aircraft, and rigorous safety regulations all working together to get you to your destination safely. On the road, it's a different story. You're dealing with other drivers, distractions, unpredictable weather, and a whole lot of variables that can quickly turn a routine drive into a dangerous situation. So the next time you're comparing the 2, remember, flying is statistically much safer than driving. You know, whenever I think about flying, I can't help but think about those classic movies with the propellers and the passengers in suits and hats. But here's the thing, flying back then was a whole different ballgame. We're talking about a time when Amelia Earhart was still making headlines. But seriously folks, flying in the 1950s was statistically way more dangerous than it is today. Like, way more. We're talking 1,000 times more risky. That's like comparing, I don't know, riding a unicycle on a tightrope to, like, strolling down the sidewalk. But that's the incredible thing about technology and, human ingenuity. We learn, we adapt, we invent, and we make things unbelievably safer. It's actually pretty inspiring when you think about it. So next time you're boarding a plane and feeling a little anxious, just remember, You're living in the golden age of aviation. You've got this. Okay folks, let's talk about the amazing men and women behind those cockpit doors, the pilots. These are the highly skilled professionals who are responsible for getting us safely from point A to point B. And let me tell you, their training is no joke. We're not talking about a quick weekend seminar here. These pilots go through years of rigorous training, logging thousands of flight hours before they even get close to flying a commercial jet. They're basically the astronauts of the skies. They're tested in flight simulators that mimic every possible scenario imaginable. From extreme weather conditions to, the occasional flock of geese. And they pass these tests with flying colors, literally. So next time you hear that friendly voice coming from the cockpit, take a deep breath and relax. You're in incredibly capable hands. Alright, let's be honest, turbulence is probably the #1 thing that freaks people out on planes. I get it, I've been there. But guess what, those bumps you feel? Totally normal. It's just the plane, dancing a little bit with the wind. And here's the thing, those planes are built to handle it. We're not talking about paper airplanes here, folks. These are feats of engineering designed to withstand forces that would make a roller coaster jealous. Think of it this way, turbulence is like hitting a few bumps on the road. Your car might bounce around a bit, but it's not going to, fall apart. And planes are built to be even tougher. So buckle up, enjoy the ride, and remember, those wings are designed to flex a little. It's all part of the plan. Hey everyone, remember that nervous feeling you get when two planes seem a little too close for comfort in the sky? Well, I've got some seriously good news for you. You can officially kiss that worry goodbye. Thanks to some incredible technology called GPS, or Global Positioning System, planes now have their own personal guardian angels in the sky. It's like having a super sophisticated air traffic controller right there in the cockpit, constantly monitoring their every move. This incredible system uses a network of satellites to pinpoint a plane's exact location in real time with incredible accuracy. And get this, it's not just telling the pilots where they are, it's also talking to other planes in the sky, making sure they stay a safe distance apart at all times. So the next time you're soaring through the clouds, remember that you're surrounded by an invisible safety net of technology. It's like having your own personal force field against mid-air collisions. Pretty amazing, right? Alright, let's talk about weather for a second because let's face it, Mother Nature can be a bit unpredictable sometimes. But when it comes to flying, you can rest assured that we've got some serious weather-whispering technology on our side. Gone are the days of pilots relying solely on gut feelings and basic radar. Today we're talking high-tech meteorology tools that would make even the brainiest meteorologist jealous. These tools provide incredibly detailed and accurate weather forecasts way before the plane even leaves the ground. We're talking real-time updates on everything from wind speed and direction to potential thunderstorms and even volcanic ash clouds because, we've got to be prepared for everything. This allows pilots to make informed decisions about flight paths, altitudes, and even whether to delay a flight for optimal safety. So, next time you hear a pilot announce a slight delay due to weather, remember that it's not just a random decision. It's all part of a carefully calculated plan to outsmart Mother Nature and ensure a smooth and safe journey for everyone on board. Okay folks, time for some truth-telling. When we hear the words aviation incident, it's natural for our imaginations to run a little wild. But here's a fascinating fact. The most common incidents in aviation aren't what you might expect. Believe it or not, the top 2 culprits are runway excursions, where a plane veers off the runway, and tail strikes, which happen during takeoff or landing. Now before you start picturing dramatic scenes from action movies, let me reassure you, these incidents are almost always minor. Think of it like this. A runway excursion is kind of like accidentally driving onto the curb, a little bumpy, maybe a bit embarrassing, but ultimately harmless. And a tail strike? Well, it's like gently bumping your car's bumper while parking. Not ideal, but definitely not catastrophic. And here's the best part. Thanks to some incredible safety innovations in both aircraft design and pilot training, these incidents rarely result in any injuries. So, while the statistics might sound a little alarming at first, the reality is far less dramatic. And that, my friends, is some seriously good news. Okay everyone, buckle up because this next stat is fascinating. Did you know that the most common aviation incidents aren't what you'd expect? We're not talking about engine failures or mid-air collisions. Nope. The most frequent flyers in the incident report are runway excursions and tail strikes. Now I know what you're thinking. Runway excursions, tail strikes, those sound terrifying, and yeah, they can look a little dramatic, but here's the incredible part. These incidents almost never result in fatalities. That's right, folks. Thanks to incredible safety innovations in both aircraft design and airport procedures, these events are usually more surprising than dangerous. We're talking specially designed landing gear that can handle rough landings, reinforced aircraft structures, and clear protocols for pilots and ground crews. So next time you hear about a runway excursion, remember that it's a testament to how safe flying has become. Alright, let's address the elephant, or should I say, the turbulent air, in the room. We've all been there, right? You're cruising at 30,000 feet, enjoying a complimentary pretzel, when suddenly, turbulence hits. It's enough to make even the most seasoned traveler grip their armrests a little tighter. And I get it, that sudden jolt can be unnerving. But here's the thing about turbulence. It's way more common and way less dangerous than you might think. Think of it like this, just like driving down a bumpy road, turbulence is just the atmosphere doing its thing. It might rattle the car, or in this case the plane, but it's very rarely a cause for serious concern. Modern aircraft are engineered to handle even the most severe turbulence. We're talking wings designed to flex and bend, robust engines, and rigorous testing procedures that push these planes to their limits. So, next time those fasten seatbelt signs chime, remember it's just a bumpy road in the sky. Okay folks, let's talk about one of the most persistent and frankly terrifying myths about flying. The idea that a door could suddenly fling open mid-flight, sucking passengers out into the wild blue yonder. I'll admit, it's a dramatic image, one that Hollywood has capitalized on time and time again. But here's the good news. It's just not physically possible, and the reason is simple. Cabin pressure. You see that comfy, breathable air we enjoy at 30,000 feet? It's all thanks to the incredible engineering of pressurized cabins. The air pressure inside the plane is much higher than the air pressure outside. This pressure differential essentially creates a giant invisible force field, holding those doors firmly shut. In fact, it would take an almost superhuman amount of strength to even budge an airplane door mid-flight. So, rest assured, those doors aren't going anywhere until the plane is safely on the ground. Okay folks, let's address the elephant, or should I say, the runaway door, in the room. How many of you have watched a movie where a door bursts open mid-flight and sends people flying out? Yeah, I see you hiding your eyes. It makes for a dramatic scene, sure, but let me tell you, it's about as realistic as a unicorn serving as a co-pilot. This myth is so pervasive, it's practically earned a frequent flyer card in the land of anxieties. But fear no more, my friends, because the truth is far more reassuring. You see, those airplane doors aren't just casually latched, they're practically built like bank vaults. And the real hero here is physics. That's right, the cabin pressure inside the plane is significantly higher than the air pressure outside at altitude, so that door isn't just closed, it's being pressed shut with the force of 1,000 high fives. You're safe. Alright, let's dive into the nitty-gritty. The science behind why opening a plane door mid-flight is about as likely as me winning an Olympic gold medal in, well, anything. Remember that cabin pressure we talked about? Think of it like an invisible superhero holding that door shut with all its might. The pressure difference between the inside and outside of the plane is so great, it would take an almost impossible amount of force to overcome it. We're talking Hulk-level strength here. And unless you've got a superhero hiding in your carry-on, that door ain't budging. In fact, the only way to open those doors is with hydraulic systems controlled by the pilots, and that happens exclusively on the ground. So, next time you're settling into your seat and that little voice in the back of your head whispers, "What if the door flies open?" Just remember, science has got your back, literally. Alright, let's tackle another myth that's been circling the runway of our minds. The idea that flight attendants secretly know when a plane is going down. You know, that they exchange knowing glances, suddenly become extra attentive, or maybe even start humming a specific tune. This one is a little trickier because, well, who wouldn't want to believe someone has a sixth sense about these things? But the truth is, Flight attendants are amazing at their jobs. They're trained to handle emergencies with calm, grace, and a whole lot of expertise, but they're not psychic. They don't have a crystal ball tucked away in the galley, and they're not receiving secret Morse code messages from the cockpit. Their calm demeanor and professionalism are a testament to their rigorous training and dedication to keeping you safe. So, rest assured, if there's something you need to know, they'll tell you. And if they're not panicking, you don't need to either. Okay, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the whispered fear in the galley. Have you ever heard that flight attendants know when a crash is coming? You know, like they have some secret sixth sense? Let me tell you, as someone who's spent a lot of time on movie sets, that's pure Hollywood magic. The truth is, flight attendants are incredibly well-trained professionals. They go through rigorous training to handle all sorts of situations, from medical emergencies to, yes, even unlikely events like preparing for an emergency landing. Their calm demeanor and clear instructions are not because they know something you don't. It's because they've practiced these procedures countless times. They are your allies in the sky, dedicated to keeping you safe. So, by now you're probably starting to see a pattern here, right? We've thrown a lot of numbers at you, compared flying to everything from winning Olympic gold to encountering a bear at Yellowstone. Side note, never encounter a bear at Yellowstone. But here's the bottom line, flying is unbelievably safe. Seriously, statistically speaking, you're safer at 30,000 feet than you are crossing the street. Think about all the everyday things we do without a second thought. Driving, walking, even just existing outdoors. Hello, surprise hailstorms. All of those activities carry a higher risk than hopping on a plane. So next time you're at the airport and you feel that little flutter of anxiety, remember this video. Remember all the incredible safety measures in place, and the countless people working behind the scenes to get you where you need to go, safe and sound. We've thrown a lot of numbers at you today, haven't we? From comparing the odds of winning Olympic gold to the chances of encountering a runaway bear at Yellowstone, it's clear that the odds are in your favor when it comes to flying. And you know what? That's no accident. Every single statistic we've shared points to one undeniable truth. Flying is remarkably safe. And it's not just about luck, my friends. It's about the incredible dedication of countless individuals working tirelessly behind the scenes to make sure you reach your destination safely. From the engineers who design these incredible flying machines to the meticulous crews who maintain them, to the air traffic controllers who orchestrate the ballet of the skies, and of course the highly skilled pilots at the helm, your safety is their top priority. And they're really, really good at their jobs. So the next time you hear that familiar roar of the engines and feel that little thrill of takeoff, remember this, you're in good hands. Let's be honest, we've all been there. That moment when you're about to board a plane and maybe, just maybe, a few butterflies start to flutter in your stomach. But here's the thing, those butterflies, they're totally normal. It's okay to feel a little nervous before a flight. But here's what I want you to do. The next time you feel that little twinge of anxiety, I want you to remember this video. Remember all the amazing facts we've talked about, all those incredible safety statistics, and the sheer brilliance of the people who make flying possible. Remember that feeling of excitement as the plane lifts off the ground, knowing that you're about to embark on an adventure. Because that's what flying is, my friends. An adventure. It's a chance to explore new places, connect with people from all walks of life, and create memories that will last a lifetime. So here's the truth, everyone. Flying, it's not just statistically safer than you think, it's one of the safest experiences out there. It's safer than walking, driving, even safer than taking a bath. And trust me, I love a good bath. But seriously, folks, every statistic, every innovation in aviation history proves it. Millions of people fly safely every single day. Next time you step onto a plane, remember, you're stepping into one of the safest, most incredible experiences life has to offer. So buckle up, relax, and enjoy the ride. And hey, if you learned something new today that helped calm those pre-flight jitters, hit that like button and let me know in the comments. And don't forget to subscribe and join our fearless flying community.